What is up, YouTube? It's RSMario here, bringing you another anime video. This time it's a little bit different. If you read the title, you will see this is a countdown video. So, top 8 anime that should get a live action production. So, I just went out, I just watched Ghost in the Shell. Interesting. I mean, it's not like an uber faithful adaptation. It doesn't give you the same feeling of Mamoru Oshii's work, but it does feel better than most anime live action productions, at least the ones in America anyway. So I was like, well, maybe I'll compile a list of anime that will be easier to they'll be easier to convert into an American live action movie for American audiences. So let go. So number 8 is Tokyo Ghoul. Alright, so I know you're saying, well, how is this going to be easier to convert than something like Ghost in the Shell or something like Dragon Ball? Well, think of it this way. So, there's 2 roads they can go with this. They can go the Death Note way, where they cast a bunch of young Americans and they move the whole thing to America and have it that way. Or they can go the way, the better way, which would be keep it Japanese centric, and cast a bunch of Asian actors. And as far as content goes, people really dig humanoid creatures eating other people. That seems to be a pretty big thing right now. Even though ghouls aren't zombies, still, it's close, and that will work right now. Cast a bunch of Asian actors. Now, here's the thing with this. The reason I say that is not from like a whitewashing or racism perspective or whatever. I say that because this is all these characters are high school characters. So you can cast young Asian actors who are out of acting school, looking for some kind of job. You can cast them. You can cast unknowns in a movie about young people, and you plant the seeds to grow a career that may be one day able to headline a movie. So one rule I say when it comes to making anime movies, anime movie adaptation: no mechs. No mechs. Alright, yeah, people say, well, look at Pacific Rim. Yeah, look at Pacific Rim. Pacific Rim did good after it got out the movies. Alright, the box office for Pacific Rim was not that good. It wasn't. It just wasn't. Like, I like it, a lot of people like it, but we didn't like it when it was important, when it was in the movies. That's why it's taken forever to get a Pacific Rim sequel. So no mechs. So that's no Gundam, no Geass, no Evangelion, no Patley Boy. Well, actually, scratch that. Patley Boy might actually be an interesting idea. So Patley Boy is about a police force, a mobile robotic police force. It's controlled by people. So they're basically police officers that have mechs. And in the world of Patley Boy, they have their robots are giant like construction machines. And actually, it's a lot more realistic than what we've seen when it comes to robots turning on humanity in sci-fi, because we've got Battlestar Galactica, we've got the Terminator, and we've got iRobot, and there's always these super advanced humanoid robots that turn on humanity. I think the real way this is going to happen is not with humanoid robots, but with robots that are meant to do specific tasks, like big, heavy machinery robots. Because that's more realistic to what is going to happen eventually. Because eventually that's where we're going with all the automation, in manufacturing and all this other stuff. Eventually we're going to have construction robots those are gonna be the ones we're gonna have to watch out for, because those are gonna be the ones that need AI in order to, properly be able to build buildings on their own, and those are the ones who are gonna be able to cause massive damage, and it's gonna be very difficult to stop them, and that is kind of what Patlabor is about. I mean, there's also like a philosophical message, and if you're looking at the Patlabor movie, there is a guy with a god complex. There's a lot going on in Patlabor, specifically the movie, the first movie. If we want to adapt, if they wanted to, if I was a studio, I would definitely want to adapt the first movie. So the next one is Orange. So I haven't quite finished this show yet, but the premise seems like something that would make an interesting kind of like love story. Orange is about a young girl who receives a letter from herself in the past, and she's basically, gonna have to recreate events and change the past. It's time travel, kinda. And the whole thing is, the letters are telling her to help out this classmate that disappears. And I think Erased can probably be put here as well. I'm gonna give this a two movie spot. It's gonna be Erased and Orange, because they both have very similar plots. Orange is a lot more happy and kind of romantic, which is why I would work something like The Time Traveler's Wife, something like that. That would kind of work. That would be a pretty interesting route to go if I was a studio trying to adapt an anime. Don't go with something that's action, something that's gonna have a multi-million-dollar budget. Go with something a bit on the smaller side, something that I can, market relatively easily. It's a romance, and something that can be adapted well that will work in America. The closest thing we'll ever get to Ocean's 11, the anime, Lupin the Third. So Lupin the Third is one of the greatest heist animes, at least right up there. Well, right up there with Baccano. Baccano's close too. I was really trying to see which I would put in this spot, but Watch Mojo did a video like this, and they already have Baccano in their video, so I went ahead and put Lupin here. Lupin the Third is about Lupin. He is a thief. Him and his friends, they steal valuable items. They steal art, jewels. They are high-class thieves, and there's always an interesting story around whatever they're trying to steal and them trying to take it. This could be something, if successful, could turn into a franchise, and that is what studios are looking for. Franchise material. We could be looking at the new Ocean's 11. Alright, so this one's an interesting one. So it's Crest/Banner of the Stars. So this is kind of like a big epic space opera. Now I'll admit the anime itself is relatively boring, but you can spice that up though. There's a lot of like alien language and history and backstory, and it's kind of boring at times. But it is an interesting anime once it gets going, and it has huge space battles. And I mean, if a studio, wanted to get something that's akin to Star Wars, as when it comes to space battles, I mean, Crest of the Stars/Banner of the Stars would be interesting. I mean, and basically, it's about a young man whose name escapes me. He is, through a series of events, he is a duke of this alien race called the Ob. Now, the Ob are these aliens that evolved through messing with their own, or humans that evolved into aliens and messing with their own DNA, and they are coming from a different part of space and invading the human part of space, and they're going to war. Now, this brings a lot of, conflicts with the main character, because he is a human, and through some events that happened in his past, his family ends up being nobility in the society. So he's pretty much has to watch while the invade his own people. And it's an interesting story, you know, and the are interesting people, humans are cool, and it's a space intergalactic war that could definitely make a movie. Number 3 is Perfect Blue. So Perfect Blue is this right here is one of the most interesting anime thrillers I've ever seen. Perfect Blue follows a young woman who is a Japanese pop idol. If you know about Japanese pop idols or K-pop groups, they're usually groups of girls, and you know they sing. They're pop stars. She's growing up and she wants to shed her teen pop star image, and she wants to go into acting. And well, things happen. You know, it takes a toll on her mentally. She has a stalker. She can't really get away from the fans and you know, her life as a pop star, and it kind of takes a toll on her acting career. She ends up taking trashy roles, and it just takes a mental toll on her, and it's basically about her downward spiral into possible insanity. And this movie is freaking amazing. Alright, so I had to put one of these here, and it's My Hero Academia. Why? Because superhero movies are the shit right now. Alright, superhero movies are huge. People love them. They make millions upon millions of dollars. And I mean, a superhero anime will definitely make an interesting movie. I mean, you've got all the parts are there. Multiple characters, colorful characters, awesome powers. It's a pretty interesting story, good versus evil. This right here has franchise material written all over it. That's why the second season has like 25 episodes. You know, that's why the manga is doing so well in Japan. Making a live action adaptation of My Hero Academia would be incredible, given the right director and studio. You know, and I mean, technically it doesn't take place in Japan technically, so you can actually mix it up. You can hire white actors, you can hire the young unknown Asian actors, because young characters, you know, so you can keep everything cheap. You can help build their career. You can do a lot with a movie like this. And last but not least, the heroic legend of Arslan. Alright, so I know a lot of people are probably groaning here. I mean, you know, Heroic Legend of Arslan did get a kind of a lot of push in Japan, but it's actually kind of the perfect movie, you know, for an American adaptation. I mean, think about it. You got a fantasy setting. People still like that here. You know, Lord of the Rings, Game of Thrones, like say, political intrigue. You know, you've got a nice measure of violence that always works. You know, you have a nice mix of characters, so you don't have to really worry about whitewashing here, because you know most of the characters feel European-ish. So I mean, you can get away with casting some white characters here. There are some Asian characters in there that you can definitely cast. You know, this is a perfect storm of awesomeness right here. Not to mention, it's also, I think, licensed by Warner Brothers. So, I mean, Universal. Sorry, Universal actually has the rights to this, I think. So, making a live-action movie would not be a difficult thing. Like, you already own the license to the material, so all you really have to do is just make the movie. You know, you can even get the dude from Lord of the Rings to do it. He might do it. I don't think he's doing much right now. But yeah, that is my list. You know, so of course it's just my opinion. If you don't agree, then I mean we can agree to disagree. or you can put what you would like to see in the comments. That's what the comment section is for. So like, comment, and subscribe, and as always, keep it real. 気づけばもう心に愛し抜くべきものばかり